There we go. Now that's what I like to hear. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Getting Better at Drawing panel. Now, let's see. I'm going to address right quick. Those of you who've looked at the schedule and saw what the arrangements were going to be as far as this panel goes, I know that a lot of you saw that there was going to be a group from the Reddit Pony Drawing School. Unfortunately, some things went down on their end, and nobody there was going to be able to make it. So you have me instead. Well, thanks a bundle. That makes me feel great about myself. Let's see. Now, unlike the panel they were going to hold, unlike the panel the Reddit group was going to hold, this is not going to be specifically about drawing ponies. It's going to be more about just drawing in general, getting better at it on your own. What I want to do is try and give y'all an idea of what it looks like to be a decent artist, and I also want to try and give y'all some tools to go out and study on your own. So like instead of just doing what I'm doing in here to do what I do, you can go look those things up and learn how to study for yourself, and then learn how to do the things you want to do. Like get the picture in your head on paper instead of whatever poor things I do with my time. So let's get started. I'm going to try and go through the slideshow real quick so we can get into the resources and have some time to do a Q&A, because I think that's going to be a little more important for what y'all want to mess with. Now, first thing right here, if my remote will work for me. Yes, no, yes, no, yes. There we go. What makes a good artist? You see here I have passion, talent, and discipline. Obviously a big contender for a lot of people. I just saw you putting your head down over there. Let me tell you right now, talent is not the say-all, end-all of whether or not you can be a good artist. You don't have to start out being a good artist in order to be a good artist. See? Let's see. Screw it, I'm going to use the mouse instead. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Okay. See, it's crossed out. That means something. No. Talent is the natural inborn tendency to understand what makes good work in any craft. So that's being able to think in your head, oh, okay, I know how this works, but not being able to break down why it works. And that's fine on its own, but it's only going to go as far as you take it. You may be naturally good at something, but that does not guarantee you get to have that, if you understand what I'm saying. So that brings us back to what makes a good artist: passion, talent, and discipline. Talent, it's a pretty strong deciding factor, but it's not the end of the road for it. You also need to have passion. Passion is the want to make good art. What drives you to practice something every day, and what determines, like, would you do this if you could do it for free every day? And some of you do that already. I know I like to do drawing every day. It's evidenced in my sketchbooks and a lot of the stuff I do online. And I'm pretty sure, like, show of hands, who does it on their own every day just because they like to do it? Awesome, awesome. That's what I like to hear. Yeah, the want to make good art drives you to practice and all that good stuff. But you also need to have discipline. And this is the thing that not everybody likes to hear. Quit that, mouse. Quit that. Discipline. The ability to self-critique. That means you want to be able to see what's wrong in your own art. What is the difference between what I'm doing and what somebody who's getting paid to do this is doing, or what somebody who is really good and has a lot of attention is doing? And a lot of artists, you get that from a lot of artists who say, when you look at their work and you say, oh, this is awesome, they say, oh, I like it, but it's not that great. Like, there's a reason you hear that from them. It's because they know they can do better. And then there's the sense to practice new things often and gain more experience. It's fun to draw the things you like, and there's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. I draw the things I like, y'all draw the things you like. But if you're always drawing that, one, you're going to get really good at it, for starters. Two, it's not going to afford you as much experience in the things you might not be so good at, but still might want to do, or things that might just be important to your art, period. And like I kind of mentioned earlier, discipline is like, even if you don't feel like drawing on a given day, it's the power to practice and study every day if you can do it. Like, even if you don't want to draw, it's good to still get in and do it anyway. Like, even even if you don't want to. Like, find something that you need to practice, or just find something that you... find something you need to practice, but make it fun. Like, don't just... Like, if you make it all rigid and stuff, you may learn something, but you're not going to enjoy it, and the development is not going to be as fast. I actually learned this from butting heads with a couple of guys in the art group I have back where I live. So, the reality of practice. The more you do it a certain way, the more you will tend to do it that way, for better or worse. Let's see. Say you have a certain way of drawing things. Like, everybody knows about using spheres and tubes and cubes and pyramids and cones and crap to make up a piece of work. Am I right? You all know how to break things down into basic shapes. One, that is a good thing. You definitely should. That is an excellent way for people who are starting out to get their way as far as art goes. It's a wonderful way to learn the underpinnings of those things that you want to draw. But at the same time, you end up with very stiff work if you stick with that for the rest of your life. And I'm going to go a little bit more over that in a little bit. But let's see. The gist of it is, like, even if you're, like, you do forgive me. I'm tripping up a little bit. Sorry. First time doing this.
I do that all the time.
Anyway, let's see. Yes, the more you do things a certain way, the more you tend to do it that way for better or worse. That's why it's important to find good methods, to learn good methods to do the things you want to do. That being said, you don't have to give up doing it the way you like, but try to find out if it's the best way to do it. There's more to this. Like I said, when you practice good methods. Learn the best way for you to do things and do them. Like, try all kinds of different ways of doing something. There may be a way that's better than you're doing it now, but you may not like to do it. There may be a thing that's better than you're doing it now, and you like to do it. It's important to explore different methods of doing things in order that you can find out if there's a better way to do it, and if that's getting you better results. Now, this is the reality of art. Except for plagiarism, copying things, tracing something and claiming it as your own without giving credit to the person who gave you the source tracing thing, the most important thing about your art is not the way you get there, but what you get at the end. Now, this isn't exactly hard and fast. Like, for someone who wants to do this for a career, of course it's important for them to be able to do it really well and really quickly, but that's the kind of thing that just comes if you're doing art often and practicing it and doing it well. And the other part of this is, don't be a purist. Digital tools are not cheating. Like, if you're in Photoshop, say you use Photoshop or Sci or Manga Studio or whatever. If you can copy and paste something to create a large scene really quickly, do that. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to use textures, now it's good to learn how to paint textures on your own, but it's not a crime to take textures other people use and apply them to your own work, because one, it just looks cooler because that's a real texture. That's better than what you could ever do at the immediate. But it's not a crime. It's not a crime to do that. Let's see. Now, with this comes also. Now I'm throwing a lot at you, and I do apologize for that. But we're going to sort it out some more towards the end of this panel. Now, when it comes to study, it's important to choose good materials. Choose high quality study materials. You'll notice that I have a stack of books over here. Let's see. I note also here that I'm saying not to strive for what another artist can do. Strive to make the best art and study from life. What do I mean by not copying what another artist can do? I know for a fact that there are a lot of tutorials and tutorial books out there that tell you a certain way to draw a certain thing. Draw these circles, draw these lines. Y'all have a wonderful convention. Thank y'all for coming. Like, draw these circles, draw these lines to make this certain thing. That's not a bad way to get started, but the fact of the matter is, that does not give you the tools to break down things and learn how to create your own poses, create your own creatures, and all that good stuff. That's why it's important to have a lot of good learning materials, and a lot of good materials to just look at in general. On this table here, like, say for example someone who wants to learn how to draw people. I have a couple of books by Bern Hogarth, one on anatomy. This just breaks apart the thank you for coming to the panel. Y'all have a good day. this just breaks apart human anatomy, like the bits and pieces of the way things interlock together in the human body, as is relevant to the artist. Now, it's a little bit exaggerated in this book, but the fact is standard. The information there is very good for someone learning to draw the human body. Same for this one. This one is less about what the body is made out of and more ways to draw it. Like, not like in a do this certain way sort of sense, but more in a manner of this is a way to break apart the body so you can set it up better on a page. And the information in this book can actually be reapplied to anything, so long as you have the original base on it. Like, say, for example, this was a horse anatomy book instead, in the case of ponies. Then you came to this, and it said, okay, this is how you can break that apart. Start at the torso, do the legs, work on the head, and it also gives ways of... Thank you for coming to the panel. Have a wonderful convention. All right. Things like that. Just ways to take what you already know, break them apart into new ways and invent upon it. And this actually has a hybrid of both of those things and animal anatomy in it, just as is relative to... Excuse me. That's a good question. This is Dynamic Anatomy by Bern Hogarth. You can actually get this for $10 on the internet or from a half-price bookstore. I know I got some of this stuff from those books. This is dynamic figure drawing. I did, in fact, get it from half-price books for $10. This is How to Draw and Paint Anatomy. It's by Imagine Effects magazine, and they have so many things on... Imagine Effects produces so many things for the aspiring artists that it's ridiculous. You can learn so many good things from them, and it's just a wonderful way to go. But yeah, like I was saying, you want to choose really good materials, things that show you how to break things apart, and not just to draw one certain thing. Now, study is important. Finding good materials is important, but it's also important to have a community of people around you. Let's see. You want to find artist buddies. People whose skills you envy, and they envy your skills back. A lot of people who have artist buddies see them doing something and say, "Oh man, that's really cool. I wish I could do that." And they say, "No way, man, you do way cooler stuff than I do." And then you both start foaming at the mouth because you don't know what to do with it because you're both jealous of each other. At the same time, you need to have those buddies who are willing to tell you not just what they love about your art and ideas, but what in them needs work. Like, say you don't have something down with your architecture or your anatomy or other such things like that. In the case of that, thank you for coming, sir. Have a good convention. You need those people who are willing to tell you the hard things about your work, not out of spite, but in order that you will get better. If you don't know what's wrong with what you're building, you'll never be able to fix it. It's the same, you can't have poor foundations with buildings, you can't have poor foundations with music, you can't have poor foundations with anything you drive or sit on or any of that. Such is the same with art for the most part. You need a good foundation of the way things really work and the way things are really put together, so you can invent upon it and make your own new things. And that's why you need people who are willing to say, this doesn't quite look quite right for this reason. Now, they're not always going to be right. Maybe there are certain ways you decide to do something because you decide it looks better that way. But you can't justify that unless you know the way that something really works. Excuse me. And on top of that, your artist buddy is going to be people that you can compete with, have fun with, make jokes with. Let's see. I've got a group of people back at the school I attend over in Abilene. It's 3 other people: Sam, Trevor, and Patrick. We're always pretty much all the time we're butting heads trying to see who can get better the fastest. At the immediate, Patrick is the best out of all 4 of us, and he kind of owns it. He kind of doesn't. But at the same time, he's willing to learn things from us, and we're willing to learn things from him. We pass things on to each other as we learn them, in order that we all can grow together as good artists. And it's important also to like dumb little things between you, for example. And I wish I had photos of this. I'm really sorry that I've only got a presentation and not very many pictures right now. My buddy and I invented this really dumb little bird. They just sit around. They're not dangerous, but they don't move when you look at them, and they don't move when you look at them. When you look away, they're gone and they're somewhere else. And it's just ridiculous and silly. And I would tell you more about it, except I'm running out of. No, I'm not running out of time, but there's just too much to get through, and I can't just bunny hop around random crap. Now, I know this is a lot, but are y'all tracking with me so far? We're going to have questions at the end, so if there's anything you didn't understand, you can still ask about it whenever I get through all the material. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, along with community, along with studying well, along with choosing good materials, a lot of you are probably wondering, how do you get an audience? Now, and let's see. One thing is important to keep in mind. Don't draw for your audience. Draw for yourself. Thank you all very much for coming. Enjoy the convention. If you really want to draw, you'll draw for yourself and you draw what you love, and you'll share that with everybody else because you love this and you want other people. You want to show your love for whatever you're drawing to other people so they can enjoy it. That's the important part. That's an important part of artistry, whether for yourself or whether for business. You have to love what you're doing. Now, in the case of gaining an audience, post good work. Post finished work, post good stuff from your sketchbook, post little dumb doodles, just things that are enjoyable. Post consistently. What do I mean by that? A lot of y'all probably follow artists that, like, they post really good stuff, but you never know when they post. And you kind of forget about them until you see, hey, this guy's got a new thing, let's look at it. And then it's there for 5 minutes, and you look at it maybe that day or the day after that, but then suddenly it's gone. You don't think about it anymore because they're just not there that often. As opposed to this other guy who may not post his good stuff, but he posts, like, for example, twice a week or 3 times a week. And you can count on him to post that often, and you enjoy seeing it because you can see his development. You can track along with his development, and you can interact with him more because he's there more often to share his work and for you to admire it and all that good stuff. Thank you for coming, sir. Have a good convention. Another important part, on top of you posting consistently, if you have fans, interact with them, especially in community-based art sites like DeviantArt or Tumblr. Or thank you for coming, sir. Have a good convention. Or really any sort of art forum that's not like any of those things. If your fans give comments, reply to them. Say, hey, thanks. I like what you said about this. If they give comments on the way you're doing something, don't throw it away. Acknowledge their comments. Now, if they're being rude about it, you're free to kick them out and let them be on their way because you don't need that hate in your life. Just have good contact with your fans. It's important to be gaining new followers, but it's also important that you keep the followers you had coming consistently. It's just the way things are with the internet community. And on top of all those other things, never stop improving. It's a very good thing for you to always strive to make better art. Because as long as you're doing that, you're providing something new for other people to look at. You're learning new things for yourself to take joy in, and it's really just great for everybody all around. Let's see. Have you ever looked at your own stuff, like right now, and then went back and looked at sketchbooks, say, from a year or so ago? You get a sort of joy from looking at it and thinking, I got better at this. I can honestly and truly say, I am better at this now than I was then, and I'm really happy that I got to be at this point. And you don't have to have a slow development when it comes to that. You can go as fast as you want or as slow as you want, just so long as you keep improving. So moving forward, what does this mean for you? Now, I have passed on no techniques. Like I said at the beginning of the panel, or did I say at the beginning of the panel? You can tell me in just a minute. If I passed on techniques, all you would be doing is repeating the things I do, and whatever I do wrong, you would be doing wrong, and in greater magnitudes. As one person passes their techniques on, it kind of decays, kind of like a game of telephone. You all know how that works, right? Okay? Y'all would just be doing my bad practices, if I told y'all to do this the way I'm doing it. But that's not what I'm doing. The onus is upon you to study. It's upon you to gain the skill to carve your own way to learn to create art that reflects your vision. If you aren't learning good things, and you aren't inventing upon those good things with your own ideas, you're probably not going to be happy with your art, and two, others may not be happy with your art either. That's just the way things are. Now, this is the end of the PowerPoint for now. But let's see, this is the end of the PowerPoint for now. As you can see, I'm displaying that you can go to my blog on that particular link to go and get some resources, and we're actually going to have a peek at that right now, since we got, let's see, we still got a good 30 minutes, don't we? At least? Alright, I'm just going till I'm going to go till they kick me out. That's just how it's going to be. Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to, no. I'm going to take a seat, and we're going to look through a few of the things on here. Now, this here is my page, and it's full of, give me just 1 second to fix something right quick. Actually, no, I have a mouse. Well, thank you. As you can see, there's all kinds of dumb stuff going through here. But what you're looking at here is the finished stuff that I put up for people to look at, and this projector is absolutely destroying the quality. But, oh, fun fact, I actually made that poster for Fiesta Equestria, if any of y'all were there. It was for the cosplay contest. But yeah, there's all kinds of projects here. There's all kinds of experimental stuff and things from school and all that. But this isn't what I brought y'all here to see. It's fun, and I'm glad that y'all get to see it, but what I want to draw y'all to is this right here, the drawing resources link on my blog. And if you go here, you're going to have to give it just a second. It's operating off my phone's internet, so... Are you serious? I don't need this in my life. There we go. Okay. So, we've got all kinds of things, so you can get better at drawing. And we're going to look at these one by one. Psycho Yasin. This guy, he's already a commercial illustrator, but he does things at all levels. The kind of stuff you'll see here, he has videos where he just draws his own things or demonstrates something, but he talks about principles to think about when you're drawing those things. Like his speed sketches or his drawing demos or just those kinds of things. He also interviews other successful artists who are doing very well for themselves and asks them how they got where they are and just what kind of things they had to go through. This guy also has a tutorial for anybody who wants to work through it. Drawing a head perspective, issues with drawing faces, let's see, sketching with markers, and all kinds of good stuff. And if you go to his playlist, you'll actually see some really powerful foundational things. What's up? The name? Like I said, don't worry too terribly about these links. You can actually just go to my blog on this page right here, the drawing resources, and you can have all these links to go to. How do you get to my blog? Oh, that's real simple. Don't give me this. No, I do not need that right now. I do not need problems with my internet connection. This is the link to my blog. thegreatjt.tumblr.com/drawing stuff. Or you can just go to the main page and click on the drawing resources link once you get there. Anybody, let's see. Now we can go back over this in just a second. Let me make sure. Okay, it's back in order. But yeah, so this guy, he's got all kinds of things. Videos on anatomy, interviews, drawing methods, composition. Foundations of Light and Shadow is a very good series because then you understand, like, things that are going on with the way structures are set up, with, let's see, the way light reflects off things. Give me just 1 second, I need a drink. But yeah, Foundations of Light and Shadow. Like, if you learn how light works, that kind of helps you to figure out how to create convincing three-dimensional surfaces, especially if you want to create new textures. The way light reflects off of polished plastic or matte metal or cloth is different for each thing, and it's good to learn how those things work out. and then he's got color tutorials, and then just bundles of videos on ways to practice drawing different things. Like there's 87 videos on that one. Then there is the let's see, Cube Brush, which is more intermediate stuff, but it's still wonderful stuff to look at. They have all kinds of things. They talk about the importance of well, that's actually a new one. I haven't seen it yet, but it's only 15 minutes. We may be able to watch that later. No, but let's see. They got things like a forum critique session. They have a community where people post stuff, and they'll go over the people who submitted things, and then talk about like I'm just gonna pick up the mic. No, it's not working. Like talk about the work that people are submitting and just kind of go over it. They have videos where they speed paint, where basically just knock something out in like an hour and a half or something. And let me think. Thank God for coming. Y'all have a good convention. Let's see. But yeah, they go like. Thank you very much. Speed paint, Dragon's Breath. The speed paint, pretty much any of the speed paints in here. Let's see. The faster ones go for 3 or 5 minutes, but they still talk about something important. Like this one is just a recording of the thing they go over in these two things. But in a lot of the speed paint videos, they'll talk about important things. Like this one is, you want to be an illustrator. This one is, so you want to be a concept artist. And he talks about the things involved with going into either of those respective careers. Like the kind of challenges you're going to face, the kind of things you're going to have to do, all that other good stuff. And then throughout their other speed paint videos, they talk about those things, and they have tutorials for doing things in Photoshop. I haven't watched that one actually, but... And the great thing about this one is like, Cube Brush actually has like 2 or 3 different artists who operate the channel, so you can learn different things. You can learn a lot of different ways of doing things from all those people and improve upon that instead of just having one guy to go through. Let's see. And there's a lot to explore. We can mess with that later. And then there's Controls Paint. For those of you who are Photoshop artists, this is probably going to be an indispensable tool. Their tagline is teach yourself digital painting for free. And that's exactly what they mean. They have free resources and they have paid resources, but if you go into their free stuff, you'll see that they have all kinds of things about, let's see, not just, like they have things about working in Photoshop, information about drawing, traditional drawing, composition, using references, anatomy, perspective, all that good stuff, and they have more and more good things to go through as far as working through digital art the further down you go. And you can actually apply some of this stuff if you work with pen and paper. You don't have to be a digital artist to learn things from people who do tutorials on digital art. And there's just so much there, it's ridiculous. Then there's the page of Mr. Anthony Jones. He has advice, instruction, and paid resources that you can access. The start of that is his Facebook page. One, like let's see, like people will post up, if people share videos up on his page, so you get to learn things from them too. But like this right here. This has the Mr. Ash Thorpe working in the background, Mr. Anthony Jones, and some of their peers are chatting about the art industry while this guy is doing his thing. And this guy also posts trailers. This guy also posts trailers and stuff, talks about what he likes or what he doesn't like about those things, and then people can discuss those things beneath the pages. Now, there's a lot of cool stuff in here, but some of his cooler stuff you can actually access, oh come on, work with me, by going to this guy's shop. Give me just 1 second. If you go to gumroad.com/robotpencil, and I'll be sure to add that to that resource page before too long. But this guy has real cheap. He sells videos for real cheap. Like you can go and you can access things about working in ZBrush, Keyshot, and Photoshop, like working through a process, or learning how to work with face expressions, dynamic lighting, approachable anatomy, design principles, working from lines to painting, all kinds of wonderful things for people who want to learn that. And like, I can actually show you some of the resources. Give me just 1 second. I can actually show you some of the resources he has, having purchased some of them, but not right now. Let's see. There's also Stan Prokopenko, who just shortened his website to Proko.com. This is geared a little more towards general audiences, but you can learn a lot of really good things here. Now I see that we have some smaller children on here. A small advisory for the Proko site. This guy does really good work, but some of his work works with nude models. So those of you younger people, don't mess with that unless your parents think you're appropriately mature to deal with that kind of thing. Anyway, but this guy goes over all kinds of things. Like, he has his, let's see, if it will just load up. Like, he has a bunch of free resources. He's got a bunch of paid resources, but there's all kinds of things he goes over as far as his drawing in general. Light, color, anatomy, breaking down anatomy into working with it real easy. All kinds of wonderful things. And there we go. Like, there's Q&As, comparisons of different way of doing things, adding anatomy to simple figures, drawing supplies, how to control your pencil, measurements, checking your measuring, anatomy, proportions, all that good stuff. And this guy has really good resources, especially the free ones. But, like I said, parental advisory, just because of the nude figures they use for that drawing. There's also Scott Robertson for those persons interested more in drafting and industrial design. This guy, his skill and perspective is ridiculous. The kind of stuff he goes over, digital sketching versus illustration, some of his sketch collections, looking over sketchbooks, but he also goes over how to draw things in perspective, like establishing buildings, robots, vehicles, things like that, and making them look convincing, making them look like, holy crap, they're standing right there, this is ridiculous. And, no. Yeah. And then just going over controlling materials as well. Like this right here, improving your draftsmanship, that's good for people who want to work with creating really clean, crisp designs. Like, this is just good stuff overall. And then there's references out the butt. Funny, isn't it? No, artistrest.tumblr.com. This is an excellent thing, and I didn't go over this when I was mentioning finding good materials to study. Like, you can come here, and the way it is, like, if you want a specific thing you want to learn about, human anatomy, nature, animals, clothing, history, writing, design, general resources, you can click whatever you want to look at. Like, for example, go to animals, and then it breaks down even further. Let's say, for example, what's up? That's probably a good idea. That's an excellent idea. Thank you for stopping me, Hannah. Let me get this to the... Alright, Q&A. Questions? What's up? When did I begin? I've been drawing on and off most of my life. I got really serious about doing it in about the 9th grade. So, basically when I started high school. Okay, you put your hand up first with the blue ears. What's up? Okay. I remember hearing about that. It's an animated project, right? Okay. Have you heard... There's a gentleman I'm trying to remember. He's run animation projects of his own. I don't really have any expertise in that. His name... Let's see, I think he goes by Zedrin. Give me just 1 second to see if I can find the guy I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure he still operates on YouTube. Give me just 1 second. Okay. youtube.com/zombiezephyr, Zedrin. This guy has experience running animation projects. If you want to, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be more than happy to share things about doing animation projects if you go and speak with him. So hop on YouTube, look up Zedrin or Zombie Zephyr or whatever, pull that up and speak with him because he has a lot more to say about heading a project than I do. Hey, no problem. All right, you were next. What's up? When I get done with my schooling, I want to be an illustrator. I would very much like to draw from home. I understand there's more risk associated with that, but one, it's more comfortable, and two, I believe that it would permit me to have a lot more ease investing in my family if I did my work from home and it was just around them. Yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. What was up? Yeah. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Right. Right. Now, the thing about that, now, as big a blessing as it would be to start out with money already, I'm guessing you want to start this out as a webcomic, right? Okay. The thing about that is, one, you're not guaranteed success with that. I've read a lot of things about that. The thing about working with webcomics, you have to establish an audience before you can really branch out into other things. There's a reason for that. If you don't have an audience, you're not going to have funding when it comes time for you to want to bring something up. And you're not going to really get an audience unless you have a good product and a good audience who wants that product. You get what I'm saying? And I sort of have a resource as far as that goes. Let's see. I'll actually have to tell you about it after the panel because the resources I want to pass on, the language is a little bit strong in it, and it wouldn't be appropriate to pass on in this environment if that's all right. But I will get it to you, sir. And anybody else? That's fine. What's up? Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If it's difficult to find places around, if it's difficult to find places around you, it's definitely a good idea to get involved in an internet community. When it comes to art and getting an audience and all that good stuff, the internet is your friend. You just have to know how to leverage it. Let's see. DeviantArt's kind of a mixed bag when it comes to that. But if you look through it, you'll probably find the kind of people you're looking to get associated with, the kind of people you want to be buddies with and compete with, and just bounce off of each other. See what is that clear? Or okay. Anybody else? Yep. Let's see. Okay, you go. Not really. They're weird, but not dangerous. Yes, sir. I do not do pony tutorials, largely because I don't draw that many ponies these days. That's why that's a large part of why I was saying all that stuff about looking up resources and learning for yourself, so you can draw good ponies on your own instead of just learning the poor way I draw ponies. Yes. Do what? Okay. Well, let's see. There's actually a lot of crossover. The principles that you will learn for traditional art apply very strongly in digital art. It's just a different tool. Like, really, that's all there is to it. Photoshop or Illustrator or Manga Studio or Sai or whatever is just a medium, just like pencil is a medium or acrylic paint is a medium. The thing about it is just taking the time to learn the way that medium works and understanding it and controlling it. There's costs and there's benefits to each one. Like, you have certain things that working with brushes will do in traditional medium, but in digital medium, you can sort of cheat those things in, but you can also create work faster because you're not having to mess with materials or clean up or waiting for them to dry or any of that. So it all just comes down to getting in and learning how the thing works. But as for the most core fundamentals, you're going to have a lot of crossover. It's just going to be helpful to know those things. Now, you had a question as well, Mr. In the camo shirt. Oh, okay. 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 There's two ways to go about it. One, you can either be really, 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 really good friends with a good artist, or you can pay someone to do it. That's pretty much your only routes to go, and I'm really sorry that there's not much beyond that. It's just the way things are. Alternatively, you can try to find people who are trying to get on their feet and give them some exercise, but understand that a lot of artists are going to take ilk at being paid in publicity instead of money. The reason being is because they feel like artists will feel like they're being undervalued if they're not being given a good return for the work they want to do. And it's nothing against you, it's just a matter of they gotta pay bills and all that good stuff. What's up? Okay. To be honest, I've not messed much with donations or Patreons or any of that, to be truthful. The biggest thing is just to get with the artist and discuss with them and find out what their rates are and what arrangement will work best between the two of you. Let's see. Now, I said that thing about the artist not care very much for being paid in publicity as opposed to money. But artists are not monsters. They're willing to work with people so long as they haven't been stabbed in the back too much. Anybody else? Yes, there are other tools available. Now, I might mention first, Adobe actually gives some of their older software away for free. If you hop on their website, you can find their Creative Suite 2 line of software for free. There's no support for it, so if you run into a problem you need tech support for, you're up the creek, but you can get that and you can work with it for free. There's also GIMP, Paint.net. I think you can get Paint Studio Sai basically for free, but I'm pretty sure there are also means by which you can get it for pay, which I would recommend doing, just because that helps development. I'm sorry, but that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge when it comes to free and effective tools. Now, I think you had a question, sir. You in the blue? Let's see. A bunch of the time, if I really want to draw something, I just draw it. If I don't know what I want to draw, I just draw something that I like. For example, I like drawing girls. So when I don't know what else to draw, I draw girls, and that just gets me through. That just gets me through the matter of figuring out things to work with. And then I also try to. But let's see. Aside from that, I also try to experiment with my mediums or experiment with things I don't know about. Perspective, industrial design, things that I may not be familiar with, so that I can learn that thing and then bring it into the library of things I know how to work with. Does that make sense? Okay. Yes, sir? Yes. Listen to that guy there. If you like listening to music, listen to all the music you like when you're drawing. It is ridiculous all the stuff you can learn and come up with when you're just listening to music while you're drawing. There is so much there's so much going on there. It's just crazy. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir? Okay. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Think. Then those are good things, like crossing over things you like, or combining that kind of stuff in new ways to make interesting ideas, or just because you want to do it because it's fun. You wanted to speak, ma'am? Let's see. There's only really two that I can think of, and I've been rattling off their names this whole time. DeviantArt and Tumblr. They're decent tools. Let's see. They both have their pros and cons. Well, thank you. That's fine. That's fine. Y'all take care. Give me just 1 second to finish with her question. I'll get right to you. I'm so sorry. Let's see. Websites, DeviantArt and Tumblr. They have their pros and cons when it comes to the way you want to do things. But there are some important things to keep in mind when you do post. Give me just 1 second. And I'm gonna go ahead and take y'all to the submission screens for the respective websites so we can go over this. Say when you're submitting something on DeviantArt, you got your picture, your title, your description, your category. Give me just 1 second. Is this even loaded? Okay. Yeah. You laugh if you like, but we're just trying to get through this so we can figure it out. Actually, no. Okay. Do forgive me if your eyes start burning. This isn't updated very often. But let's just go in here and go to the edit tool. Jet Set Radio? Yeah! Okay. When you get the submission screen, you got your picture in, your title, your description. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you have good tags. Your tags are what decide whether or not your work is going to come up when somebody looks up something. If somebody looks up, say, for example, Jet Set Radio Gum, the character Gum, then you want to make sure you have those put down in your tags so people will find that whenever they search for stuff. it's the same thing for Tumblr. Give me just 1 second. Oh, I haven't asked. How about that? Just one. Y'all know how that feels not to have an empty inbox.
Yeah, I know that.
But like you post your picture. Give me just 1 second. Okay, I'll just grab one of these. Let's see. Oh, no. What are you doing? Holy crap. That was unpleasant. Okay, so you grab your picture, and, this is, you grab your picture, and whatever other pictures you're doing, you write down your description, and then, with the other thing, you make sure you make good tags. It's a little more limited to Tumblr. The first 5 tags you put down, thank y'all for coming, y'all have a good convention. With Tumblr, it's a little more restricted. You basically only have 5 tags that are going to be picked up by the search system, so you need to pick really good tags. Well, say, for example, MLP, Twilights. See, MLP, Twilight Sparkle, artists on Tumblr, fan art. You want to have good tags so that when people search for a particular subject on the website, your pictures will come up. Now, once that starts happening, if you're posting work that people like, they may follow your blog, they may collect your work, they may reblog your work, and once that goes down, it'll pass on. They'll basically be passing that on to the people who follow their blogs, and they'll come check your work out. And it's the same thing with. Let's see. It's not quite the same thing with DeviantArt, though. In the case of this, you have to post your work, and then you have to kind of create a network of people. You can rely on the search system some, but you also have to create a network of people who come check your work out and pass it on by picking it into their favorites. So people who look in their favorite folder will see this and go check out your work for themselves. But like I was saying earlier, the most important things when it comes to that, no matter where you post often and post consistently. Even if you can do it just once a week, do it just once a week on a certain day so that people can always count on you to have a new thing on that certain day of the week. And they'll keep coming back because they know, hey, this guy has a new thing on this day, and they'll get all excited about it and all that good stuff. Let's see. That wasn't too confusing, right? Okay. What else? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry for forgetting about you. I have done a little bit of animation. I actually have 2 really good books on that, but I forgot to bring them with me for people to look at, and I'm so sorry. Let's see. Oh, let's see. The titles are The Animator Survival Kit, and that's by Richard Williams. Got the name of the author? Alright. And the other one is Disney Animation, The Illusion of Life. Now, the thing about that one, it's a thick book and it's out of print, so it may cost a lot of money depending on where you get it. I got mine for $30 because it had a damaged cover, because I didn't want the book for it to look pretty. I wanted the book because I wanted what was in it. Thank y'all for coming. Y'all have a good convention. But those are 2 really good books to look on in animation. The first one is kind of an educational primer, and the other one is a look into the way Disney did their work from their first animation, I think, all the way through. Well, I can't remember how far the book covers, but it goes over the principles they did, the way they train their artists, and all that good stuff, and what kind of timetable you're going to be working on if you want to do animation. One important thing to keep in mind, though, let's see, with your animation, you kind of have to make a choice. Do you want to tell a story, or do you want to have good art? If you want to have both, it's going to take you a lot more time than just having one of those. And if you want to have good art, then everything I just passed on here. Yes, I want to leave the page. My gosh. If you want to have good art, then you want to keep in mind everything I passed on here. about studying and finding good materials and all that good stuff. Let's see. Is that clear? Or alrighty. Anybody else?